lesson of something that a student requested. Well, not technically requested, but wanted to see if I can do it. It was something called the bean method. So the bean method is basically using a bean-like structure that has a lot of soft feelings. A lot of soft folds and molds that you can use to manipulate the torso. I think they was having issues with the torso, so we're going to see. So I'm gonna use these as an idea to do that. So let's see, like the bean method, like this. For this one, I'll say like this. Curve it like this upper half, and then this lower half right here. Those two off here, and put the arms about here and here. Now, this is the back, as you can see. Or we can make it into the front, but I'm gonna say this is the back for now. And how that's gonna work is that, hey, so, hold on, bud. Oh, why are you on my ear? Oh, it's not reading. There. So the bean method is being like this. It's pretty much what we do when I'm doing the, oh, Merry Christmas, my bro. I'm doing well, but like this is basically like how I would do with the gesture lines, like how I would do this. I would follow this particular line to follow what we're going with. And I usually don't put a lot of emphasis on trying to make the structure 100% accurate. I just try to capture the movement of said character. First, I wanted to feel loose and very alive. You know what I'm saying? So like if, say, the back's here, this is pretty much the butt here, right? And then make the neck here, like here, okay? Right? And then like that. And then make the glove handles here, into the butt here. There we go. Make the shoulders here and put the arms about here. Now, I know that the elbow stops where the rib cage, at the bottom of the rib cage. So like a good indication to let people know where the arms, or at least the elbow stop, is right under the right here. So like it's always right under every rib cage. No matter how big or how small your character is, it always stops around the rib cage. So here and here, right? So I always know that. And the wrist, the bottom wrist of the hand, or the starting where the hand is at the bottom of where the crotch may be. So the crotch will be pretty much here, and the hand will start about here. So that's how you always can indicate where to stop and start. Now, if, say, you're drawing a character doing something more dynamic, you can still measure them based on the rib cage, or whatever case may be. So the length of the rib cage, at the bottom of the rib cage is where or a little under the rib cage, is where the elbows will be. So there you go. So we put that there, and I'm going to put the head a little bit more like this. Okay. Oop. Like that. All right, I'm going to put this on the side here. I'm going to make another layer. Now we're going to do something a little more dynamic. So we're going to put like a curve here. We're going to put in the bean. Like the bean doesn't have to actually look like a giant bean. It just has to look resembling that of a torso. So I'm going to make our character kind of do this thing where they're kind of like looking in this particular direction here. Like this, like they're kind of doing this weird move, right? Now for those who are listening. Okay, so we're gonna put the hand about here, like that, and then put the arm about here. Now remember what I said before, The sizing of the rib cage is about here. So we can use this as our measuring stick and put this about here, telling me where the elbow might be, right? Hello. And then make him, or the character, do something like this. Like them reaching out. Hello, Lexi. Hello, everyone. Merry Christmas for those who are here. Or so. Okay, and then like that. And then we'll put the crotch about here. I'm gonna make the leg go about back here to foreshorten the leg a little bit, right? And then I can, this thing where the leg is about to, like he's about to trip. Yeah, like that. There we go. I made the legs a little too small, but if you get what I'm saying, it's just capturing the gesture. We can always make changes to it later. And then make the hands, the crotch is about here, so I want to say about there. In a sense, and then elbow is about here. I'm going to foreshorten it like that. Right? It's a little stiff, but it could be a little bit more better than that. But I did make the legs a little too small, so that's my fault. All right, so like, I'm gonna show you an example. I'm showing an example. The only reason I'm doing this is because the student wanted me to show them how to do the bean method. It's all about flow. This is no real difference when I'm doing gesture drawing, when I'm using the line of action. So it's pretty much the same concept, but just how you structure it differently. It's not that much of a difference. It's just really, instead of using a line, you're using a bean. Yeah, they're a student. So I'm just killing two birds with one stone. Let me see. Let me see. But I did not. I'm confused. No, I'm killing two birds with one stone because someone asked me how to do the bean method. And because they asked me how you do the bean method, but like the issue was that I never had time to answer their question because I was doing my own thing. So I'm killing two birds with one stone. By doing gesture drawing and giving some nuggets of information. This is mainly for them. I'm pretty sure though they can find the video later on when I'm done streaming today. I did tell them, but I'll still send them a video just in case if they can't make it, or case may be, or they can find this video. So yeah. So you can use this method for drawing like males, females, whatever the case may be, even monsters. It doesn't have to be like a person. You can still apply these things, but you have to be aware of the structure itself. Yeah, so we can show you a quick video on this.
Harder position to draw, and it's also really easy to still draw the muscles on top.
Erase this so we can have some time.
Look at my bio if you're actually
All right, I
interested
think
in
it's not
becoming a
hard
better
here.
artist. Stop making your finger poses so stiff. Look, I know it's difficult, but here's a simple trick. You can use what I like to call the bean method. This shape actually helps you capture how the body twists and turns in different poses, especially in a more difficult pose where the.
I think what makes this easier when you do the bean method is. Hello, how are you? Merry Christmas. Like, I think it is with the bean method is that it builds on two things. Not only just the gestural idea of drawing a character, but it also builds on the idea of form. So, like, if I were to draw a character doing this, like this right here, right? And then like this. Okay, like that. Like that, right? And then I made this part here. Now, let me give it a little more form. We're going to do a little bit more like that. I would always say to people to use ballet because or gymnasts because they're very good at being gestural in most cases. And then you build off here with the legs, like that. Like that. And then you can put the head about here if you want to. But be mindful, just don't just draw them too independently of each other, but you have to be mindful of the logic of when you're drawing them. Like that. So the head's like this, right? And then like that. Oops, I want the leg a little bit weird. Like that. Draw the other leg like this. Oop. Like that. Make them look like they're kind of floating. All right, and then hello. Let's see here. Hold on one second. Like that. Make sure this right here is a little bit more better because it looks kind of awkward. So we're gonna fix this part. Okay. Oops. And then, let me see. Okay. Like that, and then make the hands like that. Okay, I'm gonna make this a little more curvier there. There we go. Now the head is a little bit boring, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna try to put a little more emphasis on the head here. So I'm gonna get rid of that. And then, actually better yet, I could have just did this. I could have just like erased inside this to a degree, and then make sense of it a little bit right here, based on the crosshair. Like that, and then erase inside that part. Like that. See under that chin here. There we go. Right. There we go. Let's go up here. There you go. So it's kind of like that. But remember, just because I drew it like this doesn't make it actually accurate. All I did is just get the idea out first. A lot of you always want to draw it like instantly on accuracy on Moss on the first try. That's not very realistic, especially if you are a beginner. I suggest draw very loosely and don't worry about accuracy right away. I think you should worry about just getting the idea out first. This will save you a lot of like headache and frustration first. I think that's what's best for anyone who is trying to learn. Don't worry about accuracy right away. Just worry about getting the idea first and just getting into flow and understanding flow. Hello. Thank you for the gifts. I appreciate it. Thank you, Ham. Thank you, Ham. All right. So, oh, are they all on one thing? How did I get them on one thing? What the hell? I remember doing that. Okay. So put them back. Okay. Let me grab this real quick. Okay. So let's do it again. So we're gonna do it again. I forgot if they said they needed help with torsos, per se. But was it torsos? Because I know Let me check real quick. Let me check.
And it's also really easy to still draw the muscles on top of this general shape. So click the link in my bio if you're actually interested in becoming a better artist. Stop making your finger poses so stiff. Look, I know it's difficult, but here's a simple trick. You can use what I like to call the bean method. This shape actually helps you capture how the body twists and turns in different poses, especially in a more difficult pose where the character is in a harder position to draw. And it's also really easy to still draw the muscles on.
Okay. So let me see. They said here. They said, are you able to do that? Okay, they said it answered my question about twists, and definitely I wonder though, how could you show how to do beanbag method you taught? Main method of I was having an issue. If you don't mind, could you also go over the torso and the pelvis? Oh, it's the torso and the pelvis. Okay, again, especially when it moves and twists. All right, so I gotta find some moves. Okay. All right. The twists. This one's a little. I'm gonna pick something a little simple, and then we'll work our way up. So this is something a little simple. I can at least put on where. I'm gonna move this out of the way. Where they said the twists. This is just for visual understanding, but you can do it this way. I always do it this way. Just have what this overall shape looks like, right? The twist actually comes from the indent here, right? But we have to make sense that because there's a twist here, there's some form of weight. So the weight goes like this, and the other weight kind of holds it up like this. So this is hard, this is soft, and then we will make the butt come in, have a curve like this, a little bit more curve here, and then like that. And because this is here, this is going to be the strongest leg here, because all the weight's falling this way, so this one's going to support it, I would say. And then this leg come here, like this, like a box where the pelvis may most likely be, maybe like that, if you want to put a box there. And then the other box is kind of like this. This is your torso up here, right? See from right there how they connect. You can actually put like the box method, well, the certain box method that most of you may have seen before online, where it kind of looks like this. I think some of you have seen this, and this is like the lumbar here. It's supposed to be like representing of that of the spine. So I'm going to draw it like this. Like that. Like that. See how that works? And then we'll put the arms about here. This is where the arms will be. Legs are about here. The butt's about here. So, and then we'll follow that method down the line by giving it a little more structure. Or so. I'm going to use probably purple. I hope that'll be easy to see compared to the blue. So we'll put it like this, like that, and then like that. I think this part is a little off. I gotta make the square a little because this is like in the love handles. I will bring this up more probably. Like that. And then put more indication right here. The head, I would say turn about here. Based on the reference. And then Oh, that's, I drew that weird. The way of the placement of the head, that looked wild. Let me put this over here. Grab this. Put it like that, right? All right, and then, where is it? Okay, so, there we go. Put the hand about here. Or so. Hello for those who are in here. Merry Christmas for those who are here for today. I know it's kind of weird that I'm streaming on Christmas, but hey, I got stuff to do and I have to get these things done. I want to answer a student's question on how I do at least the beating method. I don't really do it too much, but then again, I usually use the gesture line method. That's just my preferred thing to do, but it's pretty much the same thing. It's just literally it's more of a preference. It usually gets the same things done. So if this is something that really like is helpful, that'd be cool. The only reason I'm doing this lesson out loud like this is because I'm trying to kill two birds with one stone alongside helping a student who was having trouble with this particular issue. But yeah, so if you guys see how this is my thought process when using this particular thing. So let's, even just this, we'll do this one right here. Right here, let me move this out of the way. So, like, he started, let me get this real quick. Let's put it right here. So he started with...
Here's a simple trick. You can use what I like to call the bean.
So he started with this simple shape. See if I can match it. Right here. And then... like that. There we go. Now it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to get the overall idea out first. That's the great thing about sketches. But you can clean it up if you want. Let me see. Let me see if I get this right, so you guys can see it good. Okay.
This shape actually helps you capture.
Now you put the head about here. This is where the head will be placed. Actually, I'll put it more higher, like this. Thank you. And the torso, clavicle. Was it? Yeah, the clavicle will be about here. Sorry, I got some chocolate.
How the body twists and turns in different poses.
Hello, Addy
Especially
Cat.
in more difficult pose where the
Addy
character is
Cat.
in a...
So he broke down and made the torso. Let me see.
harder position.
There we go. Okay, like that. I'm gonna make some room here. Now mine's a little bit more slant, so I'm gonna slant it more like this. Like that.
And it's also really easy to still drop.
And then you put in the skin here, right? And then we put the piece here. The love handles is about here. And this is a dude, so the love handle is more inward than outward compared to females, because the love handles for females are more outward than it is inward. Let's keep that in sense, because like when you're drawing, I'll use this quick understanding. So like it's like kind of a flip of a dime. So for males, it's more like this, and for females, it's like this. They're just kind of like opposite of each other. See what I'm saying? Because the arms are usually in the indication, or at least in the confines of the love handles here. That's just how I see it, and like makes it easy for me to feminize them, even if they're muscular or so. I know this is just a straight up exaggeration, but I don't know how I'm drawing these two, but like that. You know what I'm saying? And then they do just like this, and like that, right? Pretty good, right? Now, let me see here, go back to what I was doing. Put the play button up there. I think it's a little bit higher up. I'm gonna go back up a little higher up about here. There we go. All right. Mine's a little more exaggerated, so I'm gonna just call for what it is.
The muscles on top of this general shape. So click the link in my bio if you're actually interested in becoming a better artist. Stop
Like
making
that.
your finger poses so stiff. Look, I know it's difficult, but here's a simple trick.
You can use form or any type of shadows to give it more form if you want.
The body twists and turns in different poses, especially in a more difficult pose where the character is in a harder position to draw. And it's also really easy to still draw the muscles on top of this general shape. So click the link in my bio if you're actually interested in becoming a better artist. Stop making your finger poses so stiff. Look, I know it's difficult, but here's a simple trick. You can use what
and then right here you can put some I'm just changing up my own pose. It doesn't have to be exact one-to-one to his, but it's just pretty much what you're following that particular guideline. It's a helpful thing for anyone who's trying to learn. I say learn anatomy, but like the thing I'll say is learn flow first before you get into anatomy. It makes it a lot more easier. Because anatomy is just about accuracy. That's pretty much what it is if you look at that genre. Other than just like drawing them right, but it has to be about accuracy and stuff like that and proportions to a degree. But flow is more of just capturing the essence of what the character's doing. Now mine's a little bit more stiff compared to his because it looks kind of weird, so we're gonna fix that.
Capture how the body twists and turns in different poses, especially in a more difficult pose where the character is
this is because of the slant. Okay.
It's also really easy to still draw the muscles on top of this general shape. So click the link in my bio if you're actually.
Okay, there we go. So I'm gonna bring it like that. Okay, like that. And then curve it here. And then that. And then the head. That. And then I'm gonna put his hands about somewhere here. Like that. Like that. And then mostly my method of how I do this is like, it might look all rough and weird. Hello. It might look all rough and weird, and that's okay. Hello. It might look all rough and weird, but the thing is about that is just like, I try to not worry about accuracy right away. I just try to get the overall idea out first. I preach this a lot because a lot of beginners do this thing where they constantly want to be perfect on the first try. And that's not a good way of looking at things. Okay. Laters. Alright, so like usually when I feel locked into something, like say this drawing, I will turn it down. Oops. Hello. I'll turn this down and then I'll make whatever adjustments and changes I need to it. So like this to be a little more better. Like that. And then yeah, Christmas. Like that. Right, and then hello. Like that. Right. It's a more cleaner version of what we had before. Okay, and then that. Okay. Hey, Izzy. Hey, Christmas. Hello. Okay, like that. Okay, and then put like that. And then erase some parts that don't need to be. Oop. My bad. My fault. Hehe. Always makes mistakes. I make mistakes all the time. I make mistakes all the time. It doesn't have to be perfect. Especially when you're just at the sketching phase. Oops. But if you can spot them, change them. Let me put this down a little bit more. A little bit more there. Give it a little more turn. Like that. There we go. Okay. Yes, I do like eggnog, huh? I do. Okay, so like here, and then down here. Then I can just give him some muscles a little bit like this. Like that. I can just kind of deviate from this point to a degree. Here. Thank you. Let me see. It's going okay. Hello. See, like that. And then I can put them in some jeans. Maybe make them into a Calvin Klein model. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is why you gotta be, like, don't get overhyped. Thank you, but this is where don't get over, like, upset or don't feel discouraged when you're doing the sketch, because the sketch is just an idea, okay? It's not the final product. This goes with also with character design. Just because you made a character look cool, or you think they're cool, or you made a character design and you don't think they look cool right away after like hours of drawing them. At first it was cool in your head, and then when you draw it looks like crap. Don't worry about that. That happens. That's normal. That's normal to do. Ooh. Cool. Yeah. That's awesome. Thank you. So yeah. Tell me how it goes with the 3D printing, because I was thinking of getting into it, but I'm not totally sure if it's something I should actually like get into per se, because I'm not totally sure if it's like something I should, you know, take seriously, or it's just a headache, or Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Okay. Let's see here. Aw, I drew that leg kind of weird. I'm not gonna lie. Let me see. Now I'm going to move the sketch. I'm gonna grab this dude, put him over here. We're gonna add a little more to it. Now this leg is our strongest leg because it's like this. Now a lot of people don't know this, but whenever you're drawing a character, I've been drawing since I was 6. I didn't take this job seriously until I was 23, 24. I'm 30 now, so yes. Oh, you need 30 friend. So guys, I just want to let everyone know that I'm gonna be putting more effort I'm going to put more effort in making tutorials now. I might do it on stream. I might do more on YouTube. I'm gonna be doing on YouTube Shorts, TikTok Reels or TikTok, videos. I'm gonna be putting more of an effort doing that now because I'm pretty much caught up with virtually everything I had to get done with before the year was over. So most of my dedication will be going to my followers and to my patron and buy me a coffee students. So if you guys think this is something you can learn from, or you think these explanations are needed, or it's getting you motivated to draw, please follow me here on YouTube or TikTok or whatever the case may be. I'm going to be putting more effort doing more tutorials more openly like this and seeing what I can do. Now, this is a request I got from a student. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you. Thank you. And since I'm caught up with everything, I finished the animatic pretty much, celebrating the milestone we got to on YouTube. So, on TikTok and YouTube. So, if that's something, if you think my work or my explanations helps you or gets you inspired, please follow me here on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, so on and so forth. I'm going to be making more effort of trying to, get you guys up to speed and trying to really put that effort and build that community for those who are trying to learn how to draw, especially for those who like anime. It doesn't have to be anime. I just don't do only anime, but that's my main thing I do. So if that's something, if you want to learn how to draw cartoons, that's perfectly fine. Monsters. Yeah, that's nothing wrong with that. I don't think nothing. Oh, when you say trace, you mean like trying to learn how to draw what I'm drawing? Like you're doing a reference? That's fine. I wouldn't recommend tracing. I know there's people who claim Demon Slayer. I know there's people who say that tracing has helped them. I'm not saying it hasn't, or I don't think it's like BS, but I would refrain from it because it's kind of have a bad stigma. Okay. Yeah, I know, but like this is why I don't really push it too much because it has a bad stigma on that, so I wouldn't advocate it too much. I would just use your mind's eye like I do, because in the long run, it's going to help you in the long run. I'm just saying, that's just me, but if it helps you, go ahead, but I don't know, because I don't like, I never really tried the tracing method because like, I feel like it leads to a behavior for people to think, oh, I traced, so therefore I drew it. Just like how we have like an AI artist, like I made AI art, I'm an artist. So like, it's kind of like that, so, you know. So. Yee. Ooh, so we have 77 viewers. Let's go. So remember the sizing here, the rib cage will be about here. Right here. So the elbow's here and here. And then the bottom of the crotch is where the hand is. I made the legs a bit thick, so I'll have to make the legs a bit bigger. But there we go. Okay. Right. Okay. Now the arms are kind of, but right now that's not our concern. So I'm gonna make the bottom half a little longer because I feel like it should be. It feels a little short. There we go. There we go. Look how much better that looks. Look how much better that looks. He looks not like he was having a weird situation going on. So it's here. Okay, like that. And then this leg will be about here. This. You're talking about the 3D printed stuff you got? Let me see here. I think the head is a little too like that. I'll elongate that head a little bit more. like that. That arm's about here. Okay, and we can at this point make him into a hero. It can be a villain, it could be anything. So I can just grab him right here, and then like give him some shoes real quick. Okay, like that, and we can give him a cape or something. It doesn't really make a lot of, it doesn't have to make a lot of sense. You could have a cape. You can give him a cape, like a superhero, or probably a villain, or whatever. It could be this like a stylized cape or something. See? Right. Now, like I said, this arm shouldn't be being seen like that. I should pull that arm down because it's like too much arm being seen. And I think this is also a problem for also beginners as well. We do this thing where when we're drawing a particular angle or a pose, what happens is we tend to draw... Oh, okay, I got it. Okay. Someone with the heavies. So we do this thing where we draw too much and try to give too much information on a pose when we're supposed to draw less, especially if there's some form of overlap that's happening. So we should see more of this arm and this side, like, so like to really push this. Yeah, it's too much here. So we need to show, we need to show more of on here. What the hell? Oh, too dark. There we go. We're supposed to see more of here and here, like this, and less of this side. If anything, I'm supposed to push that shoulder away. I actually may have to just erase it. So I'm gonna grab this. Oh, where is it? There we go. I'm gonna erase most of this right here. All right. I'm gonna turn to red. All right. Oh, that's right here. See, now it's a little more natural like that. It's not a big change, but it's a little more natural. And then we have the floor like this. Like that. So you can virtually make, if you're skilled enough or at least have enough experience, you can take any pose and make it your own. It doesn't have to be one-to-one to the one that you're using as a reference. So like, I'll use an example, like I did earlier. So let me use something that, let me see if I can find something that's worth a damn. Let's take a pose. Hello. No, I'm not drawing him in particular. Let's use, like, probably this one. I'm gonna use this. Actually, no. I'm gonna use... I guess I'll use this. Alright, so we're gonna use this as our go-to. So I'm going to improve. Hopefully. So if I put this in here, say like we use this as a form of reference, so we can use any of these beans as a form of reference to make a character. Most cases, this type of bean structure is really good for like making characters like Sonic and them. So like let's use like this one right here. Oh, let's use, hold on, let me put this here. Let's use something like this pose right here. This one right here. So I'm gonna try and match that and then make some form of pose out of that. So we got our side here. and our overlap comes in. Hello. Okay, let's see here. Like this. Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect right away. Like that. And then we're gonna give it a 3D space by giving it some lip lines. All right. Thank you. I appreciate it. But let's see. Now, let's see if we can make something out of this. I think this is not curved enough. I think we need a little more emphasization on this, but like that. And then what we'll do is I'm going to turn this down since we're using digital. Actually, I'm going to make this on copy and then delete this. Okay. And then what we'll do next is I'm going to turn this down, make this blue, and see if I can make something out of it. I'm going to try my best. Usually when I do poses like this, I never have something in my head. I just kind of go with the flow. And then when I feel like there's something there, that's where things start to get interesting. So, let me write this thing. So we're going to say like that and say it is like this. Okay. Hello. Like this. And then make the legs about here. I'll say the legs are, that word. About here. And then right here. Let me see. And then I'm gonna put it like this. Oops. Okay, and then this will be a major overlap about here. Oop, not better yet. We'll do it this way. Get the legs like this, because we have an idea here, like that. And then the shoulders, I'll say here. And then put our head about here. Because remember, this is a foreshortened situation where we're seeing less of the head and more of the bottom half to this point. I'm going to put her arm over her head like this, like she's asleep. Like this. Like that, right? So that's how one way you can put it that way. You know. Right? And then put our other arm like this. Oh, thank you. And then like that. Merry Christmas. Bye-bye. Yep. Clip Studio Paint. Let me see here. Let me see here. Oh, you have to do it in Blender? Oh, I thought you can do it right there on the machine. Okay. I'll have to do that. It's alright, I'll check it out later. Thanks, though. And you just gotta keep making more art. Make the algorithm do the work, not you. Just keep drawing. Like that. Now, I'm not saying that this is 100% accurate. Okay. I'll give it download Blender. You know, so I'm not saying this is 100% accurate based on how I drew this, but it gives you an idea what this leads to based on the gesture drawing, the bean method. So they also asked about the pelvis and stuff, so I'm going to turn this down real quick, take this away. So right there. And then what we're going to do, okay. Hey, Bri, what's going on, bud? Merry Christmas. I just kind of like constantly just kept on doing it till it became natural to me. Yee. Thank you for the gifts, man. I appreciate it. Thank you. What do you mean, intrusive thoughts are you trying to keep? No, I drew this a little bit higher than I should have. Let me see here. Right there. Like that. There we go. And then the head. Like that. Like that. So you see how that works. But we use foreshortening for this to be a little more dynamic. But then again, I'm not saying this is 100% accurate right now. This is not about accuracy. This is about understanding how the bean works and how you use it. First, we started with the bean, right? This is how we started. We started with just this bean alone, based on what we're seeing here, right? We made it look like this. Now doing something like this is simple, and I think you should keep it simple. Always keep it simple. I have to use references to do it out of my head. Because I didn't use a reference to do this. Well, I used this as a form of reference, but everything else is from me. Because this is our jump off starting point. So this, I can make virtually any pose out of any of these poses here. Without really, because it's coming, see the thing is, the irony where a lot of horrible beginners do to other beginners to deter them is you have to draw from memory off cap when you don't know how to draw anything from memory, from just looking at reference. So if I'm not good at drawing at reference, why am I good at drawing at memory? Not a lot of people can do that. I'm not saying people can't do that. I'm not saying people don't have a full jack memory. That does exist. But like then again, I'm not saying that a lot of people can do it. Mostly it's a big blur for most people, or it's a big black nothing in their head. Most cases for me, it's a black nothing in my head. I'm not really like have an idea. I have an idea, but it's not like it's all detailed out and I know exactly what it's going to look like. I have an idea. Like, say, I have an idea that I'm drawing Super Mario doing a backflip. I know he's going to be doing a backflip. I don't know how the backflip's going to look, but that's based on how the whole pose is going and all that great stuff. So, black nothing. Black nothing. So, yeah. So, what I'm going to do here with, let's say we're going to do something simple like this one. Can do it like this. And I try to be as fast as possible because at it's the popo. So like I do it fast like this because I don't try to worry about the idea of I like this pose more. The idea of like accuracy right away because I think that deters from the overall idea right now. You can always do the accuracies and details are usually the last things you have to worry about. Just get the idea first out and then because whatever idea you have now may change over time. This is why character design is a very interesting thing. It's grueling in a sense because it can always change. It's never like they don't have like an idea in their head. They're building off that based on their experiences and what works and what doesn't. So they're not going to just have an idea instantly. They'll have a concept, and that concept might boil into something else. So, like those who are fans of Horikoshi, I'm pretty sure you know what I'm talking about. Like, I think if I remember right, I think for My Hero Academia, Slingshot, or I think his name is Slingshot. Slingshot was supposed to be the main hero, #1 hero, but that changed. It was All Might. He made a lot of changes to the My Hero Academia. Same thing with Deku. His overall initial design wasn't the way you know it now. It was something much different, and he was much older. Yeah. So like it's kind of like that, you know. So like it's like changing narratives, changing stuff. Things change. So like this is why character design is like a fun but yet grueling thing because you never know what's gonna stay, what's gonna, you know, last what's going to work and what's going to X, Y, and Z with the audience. Jack, let me see, Jack Fedoria. Oh yeah, it was Jack Fedoria, right? Midoriya. Or Fedoria or something. Nope, I have never made... No, I'm just really good at of the idea of character design for those who have watched me, like this one we made last night of this. I think I'm going to make her into some type of... I think she'll be a mage, I'm not totally sure. For those who see me make characters like this, I think she looks pretty cute. She has a cute face. And I like making character designs for... What is it, the one I had? Sundress, Mage Soldier. She has done the fight the Saiyans. So like character designs are very... This is why a lot of you may see me like draw a lot of characters and stuff when I'm making them, but they may not make it. They may not be a thing. But there are some characters I really want to work on. And I think I'm going to do it this year. Oh, the following year. Not this year, but the following year that's coming up. And I want to see where that takes us, alongside doing tutorials. So tomorrow, I don't know if I'm going to be on tomorrow, but if I am on tomorrow, I'm on. But if I'm not, then I'm making a tutorial for you guys. Like I said, I'm going to be putting more effort into that than ever. So, yeah, like that. And then put the arm about here. I'm going to make her arm like this. I'm going to make it seem a little more playful than that. Like that. See here, I think a little bit like that. Next spot here. Okay. All right, and then make the hands a little more out there. I always draw the hands like a mitten. So like that. Yes, I was... Yeah, learn the anatomy. It's very important. Like that. I'm going to probably erase a little bit more just to give it more life. Like that. Yeah, like that. Those love handles. Oop. Like that. Oop, that's too skinny. That's weird. Okay. That. Hands like that. And then most cases I'll do it like this, and then I'll turn it down. And then I will like... And this builds light confidence. Like so. What exactly? What she ends up getting upset about? What, the drawings? Like, are doing the process of things? Oh, yes, she has to learn that. Well, I suggest to send her my video on the 8 fundamentals and why that's very important. It's very important to do the 8 fundamentals first and see where she's at, and she can probably tell where she's at. It kind of indicates where most people, and it's in a particular order, so if she can watch it, then it will be helpful. It's called My 8 Fundamentals Videos. It's on my channel. If you want to check it, you can. It's on my YouTube, where we're streaming on YouTube and TikTok right now, so, you know. All right, so right here, I want to put our hands like this so I can see the thumb. I always make sure when I draw hands, I draw the thumb. I think the two main things you should draw first when drawing hands is the thumb and the pinky. If you can get the thumb and the pinky, the other three fingers can be manipulated pretty easily into like a mat like that, just like that. So like if I put the thumb about, say, here, and I put the pinky about here, I know where the other fingers are gonna follow along like that. Oop, that's a little weird of the foreshortening, like that. And then I think this is a little bit too outwards. I'll push this in more. Right, pull this in about there. There we go. That feels a little bit more natural. Doesn't feel like too protruding out. Right there. And then at this point, we can give her an outfit, or at least work around that. To a degree, like that. Put the dimples here, and then the muscles, back muscles here. And then we can turn her down. Oh, you do this long enough. Good. Not sure yet. So I can make her into a hero as well. I can do it like this. And superheroes are really easy to do. I'm gonna give them a cape or something like that. Or I can just put her in a dress like this. Actually, since she's moving like that, I gotta make sure that the dress is like dependent. Thank you for the gift. I appreciate it. And I give her like a like this. What are you doing? Oops. Sorry about that, guys. I didn't see it. My bad. My bad. Sorry. What are you doing? Oh. Oh.
Well, I'm looking for a clamp for the computer, for the phone.
The what?
The clamp?
The clamp?
Yeah, something like these.
I try to get one, but for free.
There's a second one somewhere.
We have two of these?
Yeah.
Two of this?
No, not the rig. I'm talking about the actual clamp itself. I'm going to use the other tripod that's in the kitchen.
Everyone says hello. Everyone says hello and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Happy
Please.
Oh,
And then,
fun fact. Nemesis Prime went to the North Pole, beat up Santa, destroyed his entire village, and incinerated his reindeers. The only reason why he was stopped, he got magically teleported out. That's it.
Why are you telling me this?
Because holidays.
Okay. Just tell me that Santa got attacked is really holding that holiday spirit. Okay. I know where your head is at. I know what makes you cheer. Okay, like that. And now what we can do is draw the head. Oh, I'll draw the head. Bring the head more like here.
Every time I come in your room to look for something, it's like never ever there anymore.
Oh. And then we can draw the back of the head. Give her some long hair. Like this. Like that. There we go. Okay, like that. And you can only see the back of her while she's doing her thing. And then like that. Ooh, I don't like that too thick. And then Wishy, hello. And like that. And then what we can do is erase what doesn't need to be. Oop, my bad. Erase this part right here. All that hard work in those back in the shirt. But now we can see the character for what they are normally. So we can do it like that. why does it hurt? Why does it hurt? There we go. Now the skirt is kind of meh. I'm not gonna lie, but that's not the main focus. But it gives at least the idea what we're trying to do here. So. All that hard work. So that's the thing. I think that's where a lot of beginners also fall short. Now, I'm not talking you specifically, but that does happen a lot where they fall in love with the sketch, and then when they want to go down the line art route of things, they'll say, "Why does the line art? I mean, the sketch look better than the line art?" It's a few factors that might be plaguing this situation. It's usually a symptom of something. It's not really like you per se. It's just that either you're doing a method that's causing issues where one, you didn't like, usually what causes this issue is two things. Number one is the gesture. Let me move this out of the way. It'll be usually the gesture 9 times out of 10, I believe. But they fall in love with how scratchy and everything is, not so committed, because the idea of gesture and sketching goes hand in hand with messiness, and lack of commitment. So that's what that is messiness, lack of commitment. So it doesn't feel like you're being graded. It doesn't lead to being like, graded. So what that means is like, I can draw a sketch that looks really cool, but it's only feel cool because there's not a lot of commitment to the drawing, like line art, detail, all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So you can get away with a lot more scratchiness. You don't have to put a lot of, like, it's based on shapes and flow, right? But if you get the idea of the gesture to be, if you commit to the gesture and the sketch as if you're doing some form of line art, but you know this is a sketch, you're going to get a better result. And then also what that is, a lot of beginners will do this thing where they don't flip the canvas. And flipping the canvas will be your saving grace for most things before you do the line art. Because if you flip the canvas, what's going to happen is that you're going to find what is plaguing it. Like the eye might be too far away, the arm might be too far away, the arm might look too short. Because what happens is when you draw a character for a very long time in a particular way, or a particular pose for so long, your eyes tend to adjust to it pretty fast. It's like if I'm pretty sure for those who's been in school way back when, you used to go for recess, you go outside for recess at school, and you're out there for like 45 minutes to an hour, you're running around having fun, and then when you come back into the facility, into your school, your eyes kind of like, because you're using the sun, so when you go inside the school, it feels kind of dark than usual, and then your eyes adjust. This is what that is. So what you need to do is like flip your canvas, and to do that, you need to, hold on, let me see if I have it. Like this one. Let's use this as an example. So like this one is lack of commitment, but there's something there. So what that means is like, if I take this, okay, so if I flip this like this, I'm pretty sure I can find some problems with it. So if I flip it like this, if it's not mirroring the same way as if you saw it normally, then there's something wrong. So like if you flip it like this and it feels off, that means that something's wrong with the drawing. Somewhere down the wrong, if you feel awkward about flipping it and it feels weird, that means your brain is telling you there's something wrong with the drawing. Something's not matching up in the sense of it's not mirroring the way you thought in your head. That's horrible. It's not good. Well, it depends. If it's like, if they're teaching them not to fall in love with the sketch, that's one thing. But like, if they just outright make them destroy it, I don't know why that makes any sense. But anyway, so if you're flipping it like this, say like this for a good while, it breaks your overall understanding of it. So you keep flipping it like this, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and break that every time. I suggest to really solve this problem, if you're going to do the sketch, sketch out the character or whatever case may be, but as you're sketching, make it a habit to flip your way through. So when you draw the head, flip it. When you draw the eye, flip it. When you draw the hair, flip it. So you're not only in balance every time you draw the character, but you will be so used to doing it every time. So not every time you draw a line. I'm saying when you draw the head and when you feel good drawing the head, flip it and see what's wrong with it. If it feels awkward, fix it. And then when you feel you're good on both ends of the spectrum, flipping it, then you go back, do the eye, so on and so forth. Make that a habit after a while. When you do that for a while, you start realizing, oh, I can see that it looks a lot more in tune. So when you do the line art, it doesn't look lopsided, strange, off, stupid, or a case may be. So that's where a lot of people tend to make this problem. All right, so yeah, that's pretty much what that is. Okay, so yeah, so we pretty much did what we needed to do today. Oh, actually want to, just one last thing. Pelvis. 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 See here. Now, I know they asked me about the pelvis, so I'm going to get into that. So I'm gonna real quick, and then after that, we will go and probably play some game, maybe. Okay, like this one, and I'll say this one. Okay, let me see. Okay. Hello. I might even use this one too. All right, I'm gonna move this out of the way. Hey, PK. Hey, what's up, universe? What's going on, bro? Let me put this here. I'm going to go here, and then I'm going to grab these and then slap them in here. So we got 1, 2, 3. Yee. So how I would approach this from drawing this is, hold on. Okay, so how I approach this, pelvis wise, you got the, oop. And with these here, make it, hey, there we go. Okay, so like that, make a head. That has to be 1 to 1, like that. The shoulders, right? And then usually, if you look closely, the character is going like this, right? Or this character here is going like this. As you can see, look at the line here. There's like this S-curve thing that's happening here. And you have this S-curve here. I don't think S-curve, it's more just like A-curve, but like, I wouldn't say, C-curve is not really the right word. I'll say it's just A-curve. Like this, right? You want your characters to be standing like this. You don't want them standing like this because they look boring. They don't look natural. It looks horrible. It doesn't make any sense. Hey, yo. It doesn't make a lot of sense. You want them to be, the only time you want the line to be this is when it's trying to keep balance to a degree. I'll explain that later. So like here as well. Like no matter what the pose is, the character has to be some form of curve like this, like a C curve. I'll say more this is like a very open C curve like this, or at least a curve. Oh, yeah. Merry Christmas. Oh. Let's see here. I understand. We'll get to that. I'll get to you in a second. So every time, whenever you guys see me do a drawing, for those who watch me long enough, you notice whenever I drew a drawing, I usually do it oops, I usually do it like this, where I draw the head first. I always establish the head first. And then wherever the head is, I just kind of make a line through it and then make sense of it as I go. So I put it like this with the neck, like that, right? Right. I'm not caring about super accuracy. Yes, sure. Oh, she opened it. Yeah. Let's see. There was something else I wanted to get, but I couldn't get it. But here, and then like this, because as you can see, we can see the top here. So what we're actually seeing, because we can't see the top of the breast, and when I say see, we can see that we can see it, or we can see the neck, but we can't see the top of it. And because we can't see the top of it naturally, this is where perspective comes in, where I believe, since we can see the top of the crotch, we can see about over the arms. I believe that the horizon line is about here, because I can see the top. Because if she stands normally with her hand down, I can see the top of the creases of the elbows to that degree. So that tells me where the horizon line is. So my horizon line should be like that, right? So because of that, I know that there's this weird perspective where everything under here, as you can see, like, for instance, I can see the top of here, and I can see the top of here, right here. So like this. But I can't see the top. We can see under it because we're seeing through her, but because we can see through her and we see it like this, it's not like this. That means we can't see the character from underneath. So that means this is where the horizon, where our perspective stops. Hello. So as you can see, anything that's in red is a natural form that we can see on top of without us trying to tippy toe or us trying to get on a ladder. This means that our perspective is under this red line. Everything else, let's see, I'm not sure what that means. So everything here from this point on, we can't see the top of at a natural sense. We can see the top of here. Remember, we can see the literal top. So if I can see the top of her head, that means my perspective is higher up over her head. But because we can only see the top of here, because she's cut in pieces, but like we can still see that we can see the top of here, here. Because even if we were to cut her from here, we can still see the upper torso. It'll be like this. What's up? So if I did it like this, say we cut her in half, it still will be hard to see if I made this bottom half, right? I made this bottom half. You see that? We can't see the top of it. Hey, let's go get that computer, bro. Proud of yourself. You got that computer. Better put it in good use. All right, so like pretty much that's how it is. But if I were to do the same thing with the same color, let's just say I'm using the same color. No, let's use a different color, the red. If I were to cut her in half or cut her a piece, we can only see the top here. Clips to your paint, that's it. As you can see, even in the confines of the leg, you can see the top of it. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole point. So for those who are trying to understand this, it's kind of like that. Yee. This is just one of those days. This is more of a trial run of how I teach. So this is going to be happening more often for those who are exclusive members. So this is more of a trial run for those who are walking in. Like I said, we're going to be doing more exclusive streams to the students. So if you want to learn, if you want to break it down and have an understanding of how to draw, we're going to be doing more exclusive streams. That's going to be happening more often. I think it might start around, I might start it around the beginning of the new year or so, maybe in a couple of days, I'm not sure, but I think New Year should be the good start of that. But yeah, I'm just giving you guys a trial run for those who are walking in, so you got lucky. I didn't really plan for this. I think it was just kind of like the spur of a moment type thing. And it seems like it's getting good reception. So you guys got lucky today for those who just come in, so you can see how I teach and break it down. But don't worry, if you are a free member, meaning a subscriber alone, these videos will be used in future videos of my explanation of those more smaller videos. It may not be as in-depth, but it will cover the general basis of those things. No, it's no longer free to a degree. So that's pretty much what that is. So like it, so just let everyone know. I'll use another we'll use another method. So like the proof of my theory here that we're seeing on top of the character. If I were to cut this character in half like this, and then like this, and like this, no matter how much I cut her in half, or cut her in pieces, I can see the top of her head. If I can see the top of her head like this, it does not matter what I do. I know for a fact like that. Cut her in pieces like this. Like this. Like this. So, like I said, if you're going to be a student, we're going to be doing more exclusive streams. So if you want to be part of those exclusive streams and get more updates and stuff, please join the Discord. Please join the YouTube memberships or some. I'm going to probably move away from Patreon and move everything to YouTube members and buy me a coffee. I think I might do that. So for those who wants to learn, who wants stickers, I'll be making new stickers. I'll be doing a bunch of new stuff because since I'm caught up with everything now, I have time to make actual content and not just make a bunch of speed arts all the time. I think that's kind of getting old now. I finally finished for those who don't know, like I finally finished the animatic. So if you're having understanding, I finished the animatic pretty much. Everything's ready to go and stuff. So I'm gonna be posting that very soon. I just need to color everything. I might just keep it on base colors just to keep up the speed up on that. But yeah. So since I know I can see the top of her, I already have. You can check on my YouTube shorts. Let me see. So like I know that she's under the horizon line because I can see the top of her head. If she was past the horizon line, therefore, we won't be able to see the top of here. So that's it. So I always bring up this one method where if you take the line of anything and you put a square, say I put a square here, and I put a square here. Oop, a square here. Right. Actually, let's make this simple because I don't want it to be too hard. Laters. Like that, and then like that, right? There are two different squares, but we're gonna get two. Actually, I'll even copy and paste the other one just to show how much I'm kidding. So if I were to copy this, pull this down like that, what's gonna happen once I pull on the lines here? I'm gonna put the dot here. So for the VP, this is the vanishing point right here. I'm gonna have the line go here, and we'll have go here, and we're gonna stop. We're gonna curve, not curve, but line it out. Okay. I got you, bro. All right, like here and like that. Now the difference between these two squares is no, not really. Correct. Thank you, Mikey. So like, as you can see, there's a difference between these two. And like I said, the reason why this is working in the way it is because since this box here, low box here, is at the bottom, that means we're seeing it from the top. Just like I said before, because this character is under our line, we're looking at it from a bird's eye view. Whenever a character is under, or object's under this line, we're watching them from a bird's eye view. Whenever a object is over the line, therefore, we're looking up at them and they're over us from like a bird's eye view, or not even bird's eye view, but from a higher level or elevation from where they are. All right, so because we can see this, we're going to highlight that. Now we're going to highlight this too because we're looking up at it. So if something's at the top, we're looking at it from the bottom. If something's at the bottom, we're looking at it from the top. It's kind of like a flip of the coin. So, and then whenever a item is ever on, or object is ever on the horizon line, that means we can't see it from top nor bottom. That means we're either looking at it from the side, depending on where it's placed, like this. We can see the side of it, but we still can't see the top or bottom of it. Or let me use this one. I can put out the top here, put out the side. Oop, oop, oop. And then you can see we're still seeing from the bottom of it. Now we're seeing from the side, but we still can't see from the top. Can't see from the top. See how this goes back to what I said as that theory? See, like that. Do the same thing. Off the side. Side here, and it abides by these rules. That makes it look natural, okay? And then over here, okay, like that, and like that, and like that, oh, like that, like that, like there, like that, okay? We can see the side from here, we can see the front from here, we can even see the top from here. Same thing like these. We can see the front, side, top, but we can't see the top of it, but we can definitely see the bottom of it. That's like guaranteed, right? So here we can see the top of it. If I were to draw the same thing here, right? But we can't see the bottom of it. So there's this pattern that you have to follow every time when doing this. Same thing here. And if it's on top of the horizon line for whatever reason, you can see the side of it, but you can't see the top nor the bottom. So this is the pattern that you have to look forward to when you're doing. Every object abides by these rules. It doesn't matter as a human. It could be a monster. It could be a trash can, it could be an animal, it does not matter what it is. It could be a mecha, it doesn't matter. It could be a gun, it doesn't matter. It all falls under these same rules. So if we had a cat in the air here, the cat will only see the bottom of the cat in most cases, or the side of the bottom in the front, but we're never going to see the top of his head because it's over our elevation. If the cat was on top of the horizon line for whatever reason, we can't see the top of the cat and we can't see the bottom of the cat, right? Depending on the distance, but like we can't see the bottom of the cat or the top of the cat. And then when the cat is directly under our horizon line, like if you have a kitten or a puppy or whatever animal that lives near you, or whether it's a baby or if it's a grown animal, once it comes up to your legs, it's under your horizon line, so you can see on top of them. So I hope that answers any questions that might be like infuriating on why I don't get the perspective. So like I said, I'm gonna play this. What are you drawing? We're doing lessons. So like here, as you can see, like I said, here and here, we can see the top of, the breast, the shoulders, even the top of the head. And because we can see on top of it, our horizon line because we can literally see on top of it. Everything we can see is literally our domain to look on top of this character or this model per se, in that sense. So right there and then our horizon line, that's why I don't need to look for like I don't have to be in a environmental space. Sometimes you can just tell by looking at a character where your horizon line is based on what you can see on top of. Once you figure out what you can see on top of without tippy-toeing or stepping on your more higher elevation, that tells you where your horizon line is. So if you have a hard time seeing the top of the breast, like literally on top of it, therefore your horizon line is somewhere in this particular area, because you can see the top of here, but you can't see the top of here. So it narrows itself down to the point where there's a form of understanding that there's the horizon line in this particular area. So that lets you know how you use the perspective. So I hope that answers a lot of questions for those who are having a hard time with perspective. That's how you beat the whole perspective problem. Once you practice this enough, you will see, oh, I can see the pattern now. I can apply it to virtually anything at this point. The pattern will make sense as time goes by. So for those who are understanding, please follow if you like this. I'll appreciate it if you guys did, or so. This really does help for those who follow and ask questions. I'm just doing this for tonight, but given for starting the new year, we're going to be doing exclusive streams for students. We might do it at night. Might do it at night, might do it in the day. It depends. I am using Clip Studio Paint. And for those who are not students, don't worry. Even though you may not be able to see these streams in the future, what's going to happen is that these videos are going to be used in future videos. They'll be used in future videos for, like, say, my tutorials in that sense. So you're missing out on valuable information, but you'll get the general synopsis of what I'm trying to convey to y'all. So, like, let me see, where is it? No real opinion. Never used it, so I know it's a old software. I think it's almost as old as Clip Studio Paint, if I remember right. So, like, here, let me use an example. Let's see here. Hold on. Okay. So, like, here, I remember I did a video on this. This might help you guys.
How does it work? Why do we need to learn it? And I will show you how. Let's go. Hello everyone, my name is Artextric, and today we're going to learn about how to do perspective. Now, I'm going to explain this in the most basic way I know, so do not take this as an advanced thing. Some of you this may be advanced, but others it may be something quite simple. If you know how to do this, then maybe this tutorial won't be technically for you, but it's good to brush up on your basics. Perspective is a very tricky thing, but it's not the most impossible thing to not grasp. It just depends on how you perceive it. Now, the way I perceive the idea of how perspective works, there are two things you must learn, or at least one of these two. Number one is something called the horizon line. So the horizon line is basically your eye line. So your horizon line is literally this line. This is your horizon line. So your horizon line is literally your eye level. Okay? This is where your eyes are literally looking. This is what your eyes are seeing, and that's the level of where your eyes are at. Okay? There's no trick to it. That's literally where your eyes are looking. Now, there's something called a VP, meaning a vanishing point. This is where we're going to be using to put focus on how things are going to look, where things are going to be applying back to the horizon line in any which way. Now, before we get into that, you must learn something that there's always somewhat of a flip of the dime. So if you want to know if you're looking up or down on something, I think the best way to learn this is use a square, because a square is more precise than a circle. I'll probably have to do a video on a circle, another video, because that's a little bit more complicated, a bit advanced, to be honest, in my opinion. Even for me sometimes. So we're just gonna use a box. So a box, depending where you put the box, will indicate where we're looking. Now, let's just say we put the box about, I'll use something simple like this. You don't have to draw it out, but I'll put a box up like here, and I'll put a box down here. Now,
No, we
because
gotta pay
there's two
for that. I
boxes,
know that for free.
what we want to know is that if we want to look up at something, we need to understand that our vanishing point on a horizon line will dictate how that is based on where the object is. So if I want to look up and knowing that I'm looking up at something, the horizon line or the subject needs to be over the horizon line, or if I want to look down at something, it has to be at under the horizon line. Now, to really push this theory to make sure I'm telling the truth, all you have to do is take, and it doesn't matter where we put the vanishing point, the VPs or vanishing points. We can put it, we can have as many vanishing points as we want. It does not matter. It's the only thing that matters that dictates majority of anything is your vanishing, is your horizon line. Sorry, I said the wrong thing. So I'm going to put, say, and make it easy for easy sake. I'm going to put the vanishing point right here, okay? And then I'm going to take a line, and then I'm going to pull this line. We're going to start at the corners, so you guys can see it better. I start at the corners of our shape. 1, 2, going back to our horizon point. And then we're going to take that one. 1, 2, okay? And now to really push this to make this like what I'm saying makes sense, we're gonna we're gonna put a line straight off under our subject, so we can like make it into a box. So I'm gonna take a line again. I'm going to put a line here, straight, not curving or anything, straight like that. And all I'm gonna do is get rid of the lines that's going to our vanishing point. Okay.
I have a video on that.
Shapes and everything. Now the only thing we need to do is this: we need to make sure that if we're looking up at something,
you think I'm from North Korea?
From an angle that seems like we're looking up at it, right? So because the box is over our horizon line, over our eye level, we have to look up, right? And because we're looking up, we can see the bottom of it right there. Easy as pie. Oop, there we go. Easy as pie, right? So that indicates to me that I can see the bottom. I can see the bottom of the object, but I can't see the top of it. I can't see the ceiling. I can't see the literal top of the head of the box. I can only see the bottom of the box, okay? If we was doing it more sideways, we would probably see the bottom of the box, but also the side of the box if it was sideways. If we was, but we won't be able to see the top of the box at all. That also reinforces the same thing with looking at from a top angle down onto it. So if I know I'm looking down onto something, is that I can see the top of the head of the box at the bottom of our horizon line, under our eye level, okay? And because I can see the top of our box, I cannot see the bottom of the box. See that? Simple. Because I can't see the bottom of the box, I can only see either the top parts of it. That means I'm over it in some shape or form. You cannot see something from the bottom of it when you're at the very top of it. That's virtually impossible. Okay? So that's how that's placed in that sense. Now, you see, now some of you will ask, but teach, what if the box is on top of the horizon line, which is possible. So what will happen is if the box is on top of the horizon line, which I'll show you in 2 seconds, and if the box is on top of the horizon line and the VP, for whatever reason, at the same time, or at all, what's going to happen is everything's going to be super neutral. So if, say, for instance, you draw a character on top of the horizon line, or several characters, depending, what will happen is you won't see the top, you won't see the bottom, but you'll definitely see either, maybe the sides, maybe the sides, or right in front of it. That's it. You're going to see, it's going to be neutral. So you can't see the very top of their head or their shoulders, and you can't see under the crotch of their feet. So they're going to be perfectly normal. Like if you draw any character standing, you can't see the very top of their head. You can see their head, you can see their feet, but you can't see under it, like the very soles of their feet, or under the flattening of their feet, or the very top of their head at the very peak. Okay? I hope that makes sense to anyone who's listening to this, per se. Let me see, like here. So everything is totally normal at that point. There you go. So that's how that works. Or so. Okay, so that's where that is. All right, we established that the horizon line dictates mainly everything and anything we do. Now, there's something called perspective placements and stuff like that, like first, second, third perspectives, which we will talk about in a second. I'm just going to mention those 3 only, and then I think we're going to stop it from there because we don't want to get overwhelmed because something like perspective could be very confusing. I think that's just going to keep it basic like that. And then once we get those out of the way, we'll move on to something else. And then once we get through the basics of the fundamentals, what we're going to do is we're going to go back to them again, or some of them, and go more advanced topics on those things, just to see if we can brush up anything or apply any new techniques if possible. Okay? So let's jump into that in a second. Let's go. We're going to do about first, second, third perspective, what makes them different, how do they work, and why would you use them. The first one's going to be the most easiest because you're just doing one thing and one thing alone. You can make a whole room by just doing 1 point perspective, but we're not going to do that because that's going to take too long. I'm going to keep it simple, so what we'll do is just make a basic road. Just something really basic. So we put a dot right here, as you can see. We can use a big, thick dot. And all we need to do, this might take some pizzazz on your end if you're doing traditional, you will need a ruler for this. But if you are using, like, I don't know, something like the symmetrical tool on Clips View Paint, I think Photoshop has that, but I'm not totally sure. you can make this pretty equal pretty fast, but let's just say you don't have it. We'll just have to do it the old-fashioned way. So we'll take a line like this, 1, 2. Now, the thing is here, I wouldn't use a really thick line. I think the thinner I feel like the thicker the circle, the little less accurate things will be because, but then again, I think that's just my personal preference, but I would use a very small circle. It's simple, one like this. All I have to do is just literally erase this way, based on the lines that we have, that's going towards that particular way. Now, remember, our horizon line can be placed virtually anywhere, and our VP can be always posted on that horizon line. As long as we follow those two main rules, we won't have too much of a problem. This is where things get just tedious to a degree. And to prove that what we're doing makes sense is that I'm going to make some lamps. I'm not going to make a lamp. I'm going to make a line that goes back to that particular place. I'm trying to keep it as basic as possible. Okay, so like if I were to make a line here, make a line here, make a line here, and abide it like this, you can see that there's a bit of like a foreshortening thing that's happening, right? You see how that's going? These are fake lamps, I'm just saying, but like just look at it for what it is. Like here and here and here, like that. We can do it like that. I think the lines can actually pass through this, like if I made it like this. So say like if I did it like this, right? If I did it like this, let's just make this real quick. Okay, like this, this, this. Then right there, as you can see, if I erase this and make this a little more prettier, which I'll time skip on. And as you can see, it's like this T-Mobile thing that's happening. Like the lines are going, it's getting smaller. But to be clear here, the fake looking lamps are actually all the same height. They may not seem to be, but they are all the same height. The only reason why they look different is because I wouldn't say it's distortion, but like as things go into the distance, they get smaller, but their size is still the same. So you could be a 6-foot dude, which I mentioned in a video before. You could be a 6-foot dude or a 5-foot dude or a 10-foot dude, doesn't matter, you can be a shack. And you can be, if you're more closer to the horizon line than closer to me, you're gonna look smaller because of the distortion of distance than actually a size. So he could be the same size, but he can still look small within the distance of how further he gets. That's just the rule of things. So when something's close to you, it's much bigger. So if you take your hand and put it in your face, right, and then you push your head into the distance, the hand is not as big as it was before when it's up on your face. So it's a foreshortening type rule to that degree. So that's something to keep in mind when it comes to distance, when it goes towards you as the camera, or towards the horizon line, or more closer to the horizon line. Things will get smaller by comparison. I will draw people in a more advanced thing when we know how to place them, but this is just keeping things basic. So I will do another video on perspective in the future. Don't worry. I will do that. Don't worry. I got you. So what we can do is copy, paste for the other side, and then we can say, we can take this, flip, and just put it right here. So we have our road of lamps, our lamp road, going back to our subject, pretty much. So that's what that is. It's going towards the focal point. That's what that really is. So it doesn't have to be a road. It could be virtually any situation where you're doing an action pose or an action anything, and it can just go back to that particular place. So it doesn't have to look exactly like this, but it can be close to this. So keep that in mind. But keep it really basic. Look at some references of 1-point perspective. You'll be surprised how much you can get away with just 1-point perspective and have some dynamic type artwork to do, or at least some sketches to see. I would check on Pinterest as a perfect example of this. So yeah. Now we're going to jump over to 2-point perspective. I'm going to go another line there because I was on the wrong layer. Anyway, now, since we're on our 2-point perspective, what we're going to do now is we're going to put 2 points at the end. I'm going to make them red so it makes it easier for you guys to see this. Now, 2-point perspective, just based on what we're talking about when we say perspective, 2-point or 3-point, what they're actually saying is how many VP or vanishing points are on, sorry, I'm getting sick, are on the horizon line, right? So it kind of just explains itself, it's self-explanatory. So it's 3-point perspective, 3 points on the horizon line. 1-point perspective, 1 point on the horizon line. 2-point, you get the, 4-point, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, now, because we know that we need 2 points on our horizon line, all we need to do is make sure they're both working. I'm going to use a line like this, right? Just like what we did technically before with the roads, but this time we're doing it differently, slightly different like this. And then I'm going to use the opposite color so it's much easier so you don't get confused. Now you can do it like that, or you can do it like this. There's a faster way of doing this. So you can put in your lines at the bottom, and I think if you take copy, paste, I think it's vertical, and then you do it like this. It's like a more faster way of doing things. And then what you can do now is I would merge these two lines, and then I will say copy, paste, and flip, or horizontal. There we go. So we have our 2-point perspective on both ends of our spectrums. Now, what makes this a little bit tricky is that you have to keep something in mind when it comes to 2-point perspective, that because there's more horizon vanishing points, the issue that you have to keep in mind is that if you make your vanishing points too close, they will distort if they're related to each other to a degree. So like if, say, I put the horizon line, or I put this very close, like this close, like here, I hope you guys can see it, and then I make a blue box, the box is going to look very distorted, and that's where that problem comes in. I'll make it a little bit more thinner so you guys can see it better. Like, there we go. The box is gonna look really, really like distorted and weird, okay? So keep that in mind when dealing with this situation. So to avoid any form of distortion or any issues, I suggest to keep the horizon line, the VP as far away from each other as possible, because the more further away they are from each other, the more natural looking and a lot accurate your drawing will look. That's something to keep in mind. So the closer they are, the more they'll distort. The more further they are, the more natural they'll look. So if I put this back, right, and I made a box, let's just make this a tad bit further away, just for the hell of it, just about here. And for those who are doing traditional, what most of you may not know is that you may have to do this with a piece of paper off the regular paper. So some artists will use like 3 pieces of paper, tape them together, and then do it that way. It's a pain in the butt, I understand. Unlike digital, you can kind of like, finesse your way a little bit more easier. But, you're going to need a ruler per se. If you're really good at eyeballing it, if you practice this enough, then this shouldn't be too much of a problem for you. So, yeah. Okay, so let's just put in the quick box right here. I made a mistake. I keep writing on the wrong layer. My bad, guys. So right here, and then right here, and then here. All right. Now, just to make it less distorted or seem distorted, I'm going to This is where I always hold shift. So if you're wondering why is my line so like perfect, I'm using the line tool, but I'm also holding shift. So they are a lot more straighter compared to if I did naturally, it'll look a little wiggly. Or if you have stabilization on it, also works too. So that's also a thing you can do. So I'm going to turn this down real quick, and I'm going to erase the sides that we don't need anymore, because even if I erase the sides, these are more, the box is accurate to what it's supposed to be. There you go. So we have ourselves our natural box. I'm sorry for all the jump cuts. I'm sorry about that, but I was making a bunch of mistakes. But this is me winging it, so I should have practiced a little bit more before I did this. So that's my fault. Anyway, the point is, yeah. So we have our perfect box, right? And because we have our perfect box, it looks really natural, right? Right? Now, remember what I mentioned to you guys before. The box is on top of the horizon line, so we're not seeing neither the top nor the bottom. Like I said, it still follows these rules. Even though we're doing it a little differently, it still follows those rules. So to even add to this more, I'm going to make a box real quick. I don't really need the horizon line thing right now. I'm just doing this real quick, or I'll put in blue. I don't want you guys to get confused. Yeah. So if I do it like this, I hope you guys can see this well. I'll make a box right here. And as I'm making said box, you can see, it's a little bit distorted, but that's not the point. You can see that we can see the bottom of it because we're looking at the bottom of it because the horizon line is over the horizon line. See? We don't see the top of the box. We see only the bottom. Right? That makes sense, right? So if I were to draw, say, a box again here, I'll put it under each other so there's no confusion. If I put a box here, almost on the same placement, the rule is that I can see the top, or the bottom. I can't see the bottom, but I can see definitely the top. I can see the top of our box because our box is under the horizon line, like I said before. And going back to the original box that we made at the very beginning, our box is we can't see neither the top or the bottom of our subject. So this can apply to a character, this can apply to an object, this can apply to an animal. Everyone by natural ability follow and serves to the same rules, whether they know it or not. So I hope this was helpful to that degree. We're going to move on to third perspective, and then we're going to end it right there. So I'll be right back. This is going to be a bit more tricky for me when it comes to 3-point perspective because it could be a little bit, it can really throw you really off. So like I said, it's just like if we made 2-point perspective, but this is going to be a bit of a twist. But once we get to that point, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Now I'm going to make some lines. I'm going to make one line actually. Just make this easier on myself. And I'm going to make the lines a little bit more thinner. I don't think it should be that thick. I think it should be like a lot thinner. Like this, and like this. First, I think we should establish a 2-point perspective first, like we did before, for this 3-point perspective, believe it or not. Like that, right? Now, I'm going to, there we go. Now, I'm going to copy, I'm going to paste, I'm going to flip, and then push this back more, there. And then what's going to happen, I'm going to put a dot down here. Now, this is where things get a little interesting and insane. But before I do, I'm going to make a line that goes like this. Now, I know that this is a little hard to see, so I'm going to change the colors so it's a little more easier to see, at least, in some shape or form. that. And then I'm going to make the other color like an orange or a purple, maybe purple's best. I just hope this doesn't cause any real trouble too much. So I'm gonna put a line with this, that. It doesn't matter how many lines I make. They don't have to be symmetrical at all. They just have to come right back, converging back to the same line. So remember that when doing something like this. So I would pull it down a little bit more. Well, I can't now. We're stuck here now. So, okay, so what's going to happen now, I'm going to make the lines. I'm going to take a dark blue so everyone can see it, or a light blue, depending. And I'm going to make a box. But what makes this box different is that I'm going to use the lines that's converging back to our line. So, like, now, as you can see, we're watching everything in a 3D space. Now, it's a bit distorted. I can say that probably too close to the VP. I can make this a little bit more better by going up here and then working my way with the lines out here. And it looks a little bit more natural, still a bit distorted, but you get what I'm saying. See, the distortion part doesn't actually mean you're wrong. It just means it's very exaggerated. If that's not something you're looking for, then I suggest try to push the lines even more further away, almost off paper if possible, which is possible, especially if you're using like Clip Studio Paint. They have a perspective tool. I'll probably explain that in a future video. I think that will just take like 5 minutes to explain, especially if you apply these concepts to that. It's not going to take that long. But things will be pretty fixed. But anyway, so as I'm making the boxes, you can see, even if it's wacky enough while we use 3-point perspective, you can still see it adheres to the rules as I mentioned before. Okay, so as I'm making the box, as best as I can, I'm not really trying to be super accurate right now, but I'm just making the box for the sake of like the point of the concept. As you can see, that once again, for this box here, we can see the bottom, but we can't see the top. As for this box here, we can't see top nor the bottom, because it's on the horizon line. Or we can see the side of it depending on what you're drawing. Because if you're drawing sideways, you're gonna obviously see the other side of it. That's common. But if you're directly in front of the horizon line without any curves, you'll see just directly in front of yourself. Now back to here as well. We can see the sides here, and the face. Per se, actually no, that's a lie. I almost skipped the rule. Because our box is literally under the horizon line, we can see the top of it. Same thing here. We can see the top of here because it's under the horizon line. But we can't see the bottom of it because since it's under, even if we're looking at now in a more three-dimensional space, we can't see the bottom of it because it still adheres to the literal horizon line, or to the rules of the horizon. So that's how you make 3-point perspective. Like I said, I'll do in a future video me drawing people and putting them in places and how to make them feel more natural and stuff like that. That will happen. And this is not something I'm too good at, but I will do it for you guys because I know this is something that really plagues a lot of people, even myself. It was just out of laziness why I just don't do this. But like, I know if I really put the effort in doing it, I can really pull some crazy like artwork. So I might do that in the far future. Now talking it out loud now. But yeah, so this is how you do 3-point perspective. So the difference between it, you technically do a 2-point perspective type thing where you make 2 points on the horizon line, but what makes it slightly different from the 2-point is that you put a third point at the top or at the bottom. It doesn't have to be down here. It could be at the very top, but it has to be further away from the horizon line. It has to be away from the VP. It can't be super close because if you get it super close, you're going to get super distortion like this one. So if this was more further down, I believe that the box would be a lot more natural. All 4 of them. They're somewhat distorted, but they're not that distorted to the point that it looks super cartoony unlike this one. So the quick recap for everything we just did, I hope we was able to establish to you guys to understand what is a horizon line, which is the eye level. What is a vanishing point, which is the point that we need to know where it relates to the horizon line, how to understand if we're looking up or down onto a subject using that horizon line, and I hope I was able to establish first, second, and third perspective in a way that makes it easy for anyone to digest and apply to your works. Now, like I said, I'm not a big environmental or background artist. This obviously shows most cases, but I think these are important things to know if we want to be very accurate. Remember, it's mostly on the idea of the accuracy of how to keep things in place. Most cases, you can usually eyeball it, but most of the time you should use perspective. It really does make things a lot more easier. It's just tedious. That's usually what makes it actually complicated. So with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching my video. Please leave a comment if this video helped you. If not, please touch upon what didn't, what did. I would love to hear what you have to say. Please interact with the video, like, subscribe, share, follow, comment, all that extra stuff that we all talk about all the time. But literally, guys, I'm looking for feedback. I want to know if you guys are actually learning from this, if this is a waste of your time. Was this too basic, or would you want more advanced techniques or videos on this, or this was good enough for you to understand? I hope this is easy to digest, but this topic is a very complicated topic because it can lead to a situation where things can lead to a road, meaning it's going to complicate it for itself. Oh, and also, if you want to support me in these videos, please go to Buy Me a Coffee or Patreon. It will really be helpful if you guys support me there so I can make more of these videos. So the more you guys support me on those, it's really small donations or at least subscriptions, so I can do more videos like this and stuff like that. I might do even traditional work as a form of tutorials. I'm not sure yet, but we'll see. But thank you guys. I appreciate it very much, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
All right, guys. So with that said, I'm going to stop it early from here. We're gonna go play a little bit of Repo. I know I don't really stop it early at this particular time most of the cases, but given it's Christmas and all that stuff, I don't think we want to be bombarded doing lessons. This was just an opening for those who have a understanding of how to do or want to become a student and how I teach. So the video that you just saw is something on my YouTube channel that anyone can access to. Those videos will be for people who are just subscribers alone and don't want to pay and become a member. For those who have become members, you get help from me, and you'll be part of the exclusive streams, get stickers, all that stuff. I'll be making brand new stickers that'll be very community oriented. If you want to get notifications and stuff like that, please join the Discord and all great stuff. I hope that was helpful in any which way. Thank you, Mikey. Send that in there. But yeah, so that's pretty much how I teach to a degree when it comes to the free version of for those who are here. But we will be playing game today in a couple of minutes. I hope this answers the question to my student who was really having the trouble with the whole beanbag problem. If it didn't, I'll still send them a video. I hope they get to see this. If they don't see this, I'll still have to send them the video anyway, because just in case, just to put a good cap on it. I think the issue was not even the beanbag method. I think it was the pelvis problem. I hope I even touched up on that. If I didn't, I will do more to give that student more context on what to do, because I feel like I didn't really touch upon it all that much. If I did, I hope it helped in any which way I could. Now, we're going to go play some Repo. I'm going to play with my mods and all that great stuff. Please follow the Artextric Games channel. It's here on the YouTube channel, and it's in the featured section. You don't have to go look for it. If you're right on the channel, you can just go to featured, click on that, and subscribe. Yes, thank you, Mikey. And there's the tutorial playlist for those who cares for that. If you care for the tutorial playlist, that's there up there as well. Also, you can subscribe to the reaction channel where we'll be playing a bunch of the reaction videos. That's up there, all the reactions that we did in the past, mainly with the VTubing model. So if that's something that you want to watch, if you like the reactions and the hot takes that we take here on the channel, that'd be fine as well. So yeah, this is the gaming channel, this is the art channel, and this is the reaction channel. So give it a follow if you can. It's in the featured, so you don't even have to look. If you're already on the we call it the YouTube on the art channel, you click on the art channel like you're on here, scroll down, it's literally right under here. You can't even miss it. You slide right down, it's right there. It's the featured channels. You click here and you subscribe to both of them. I'll be posting my reaction channels. We got 70 subscribers, so we're gonna build that up as next year, going into next year. So with that said, have a great night. Thank you guys for coming in. I appreciate it. The playlist is there in the chat. Thank you guys for coming in. Thank you for your nice words and your gifts and all that great stuff. I hope you guys become students one day, and look out for next year, because we're going to be doing more exclusive streams. I will make them scheduled, so look out for that. So it's not going to be like random, but they're going to be scheduled so you guys know what to look for. So with that said, have a great night. Keep safe. Have Merry Christmas. Have fun. Happy holidays. All that great stuff. Keep safe. Yeah, I hope you got your gifts and presents. We're going to play Repo and enjoy the rest of the night. So with that said, I'm out. Later, guys. Bye-bye.